Today we look at the most dangerous 4/4 creatures in Magic the Gathering. I'm going to start off with Archangel Avacyn. This is a white 3 generic 4/4 creature with flash, so I mean, you don't see her coming till you see her coming. Flying and vigilance, and when she enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. Also, protection from board wipes. Supreme Verdict, Wrath of God, Armageddon, maybe Farewell. That's right, Farewell, because Archangel Avacyn's not afraid of anything. Archangel Avacyn invites herself. And when a non-angel creature you control dies, transform Archangel Avacyn at the beginning of the next end step, because she doesn't want to see anyone fallen. And she becomes Avacyn the Purifier, a 6/5 angel with flying, and when this creature transforms into Avacyn the Purifier, it deals 3 damage to each other creature and each opponent. So don't peeve her off, alright? Don't do it, it's a big mistake. It's actually a 4/4 that will get upgraded. Alright. So moving on with the show, we have Toads with the Questing Beast. Toads, this is one of those cards where there's so many words on it, you are never sure if you know exactly how Questing Beast actually works. If from memory. So a green 2 generic 4/4 beast. I mean, hey, everyone close your eyes. Can you name all the abilities on Questing Beast? I'll try to do it right now. Okay, we've got Vigilance. It's got Haste. It can't be blocked except by creatures with power 2 or less. Something about if it deals damage, I also can deal that much damage to a planeswalker, I think? Okay, I'm done. I can't do anything else. Alright, we got... oh, I forgot about the Death Touch. I've already screwed it up. Okay, can't be blocked except by creatures with power 2 or less. Combat damage that would be dealt by creatures you control can't be prevented. That is... that might be a plot twist. Alright, you have protection from green. Well, maybe you don't. Not while I have Questing Beast in play. I don't know, has that ever come up for somebody? And then Questing Beast, when it deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to a target planeswalker that player controls. Not very nice to have planeswalkers around here. Very unfriendly, not very planeswalker friendly. Okay, next up, we've got Christopher B. Gotta go to the bank. Trying to get some of that money. Okay, suggests Ravenous Baloth. The hell is this? It's a green 2 generic 4/4. You sacrifice a beast to get 4 life. Is that it? Is that it? Is that all? It's a free sack outlet, I guess. You got that going for it, alright. Is anyone playing the Ravenous Baloth? It's been reprinted a few times. I may not see the full value to this thing. David! Avabruck Caretaker. Avabruck. Taking care of something around here. Okay, we have a green 4 generic 4/4. It's a human werewolf with hexproof. So anything that, well, I mean, I was about to say anything that targets it just bounces off, but actually you're not even allowed to target it in the first place. Okay, so at the beginning of combat on your turn, put 2 +1/+1 counters on another target creature you control. So you're actually continuously buffing up your other creatures, and it's got Daybound. So if a player casts no spells during their turn, it becomes night. And at night, we have the Hollow Henge Huntmaster, a 6/6, again hexproof. And other permanents you control have hexproof. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, put 2 +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. Actually, this thing gets insane on the other side. Basically, everything's indestructible. Everything is upgraded. Oh, that's enormous. This card, when it flips, a danger. Absolutely a danger. All right, next up. Let's take a look at the Abyss Soul with Hidden Horror. Because reanimate is a thing. You like reanimating, huh? The 3 mana 4/4 horror. When it comes into play, sacrifice it unless you discard a creature card. This thing's terrible. How could this be? How is this good? You're saying this is like a reanimate enabler? It's a reanimate enabler. I guess it's a madness enabler. I wouldn't say this particularly is the most dangerous 4/4 available. Whatever you discard is probably going to be more dangerous than the Hidden Horror. In my opinion, not very dangerous. I would let it resolve, I think. Maybe not. Bryce with the Bone Miser. Bone Miser loves the bones. We have a black 4 generic 4/4 zombie wizard. Whenever you discard a creature card, I guess if Hidden Horror, so I guess you first play your Bone Miser, next you play your Hidden Horror, and then we're in business. So if you discard a creature card, you create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Whenever you discard a land card, you add double black. And whenever you discard a non-creature, non-land card, you cash it in for an extra card. So it's basically Waste Not on a creature, which is pretty strong in Pioneer these days. A Waste Not has been wasting away in people's trade binders for decades, and finally is seeing some play around here. About damn time we have some good waste. That sounds wrong, but whatever. Okay, first up, we got a big super chat coming straight from Steve Cooper. Trax's Praetor's Voice. My poison-killing beloved. Oh, you must be a really good friend. You must be the best. I want to say you crash a lot of parties, and you want to donate for it. You got it, Steve Cooper. Okay, we got Traxa, the black, blue, white, green 4/4 angel horror. This is, how is this an angel? Does it come from the same school as Avacyn? They just didn't see things the same way. One went, the good university, one went to the Praetor University. Alright, angel horror, flying vigilance, death touch, lifelink, and at the beginning of your end step, proliferate. I always thought this card looked like a joke, but apparently proliferate is broken. I don't know, proliferate for some reason. What's wrong with proliferate? I don't get it. Spectral Maniac. It's Waste Not, but a creature. Yeah, the last one, absolutely. These people can't deal with counters in that game. I guess the idea is like you sting someone with a little bit of poison or infect, and then whoop, 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 you're dead. It's over. And it happens before you even see it coming. The beginning of, but it's only at the end of your turn. Whatever. It's damn dangerous. I agree. The card is so annoying. Yeah. Maybe we should have another show. Most annoying cards in Magic the Gathering. Not necessarily good, but they are annoying as hell. Okay, next up, the 2 rhinos from Crashing Footfalls. That's not gonna count. Although you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. Okay, first donation to Arcanus Ultra with Astral Dragon. Keep my eye on you, Arcanus. You're always like, I didn't get a card yet. Well, you got a card now. Okay, we got for 6 mana, 4/4 dragon with flying. It's got project image, like a projector. When Astral Dragon enters the battlefield, create 2 tokens that are copies of target non-creature permanent, except they're 3/3 dragon creatures in addition to their other types, and they have flying. I don't get it, but it's not real. It's a fake projected image. It's like showing a movie. But in the game, it's real. It's a projection that can punch you in the face. Okay, Jack with Mere Enforcer. In Pauper. Oh, you're not wrong. All right. It's basically a 0 mana 4/4. It says 7 mana. It's a lie. It costs nothing. If you've set up your board full of artifacts, you're just gonna play this for. How do you feel about 0 mana 4/4s in this game? Cause I don't like them. It gets around Lightning Bolt, gets around most removal. You can't even Fatal Push the damn thing. Great card. Actually seeing some playing Modern at the moment right now. We're gonna see more play out of this card soon. Platinum Angel. Coming from Apocalypse. This is a huge popular card. Why? Because for 7 mana, it flies, and you can't lose the game, and your opponents can't win the game. Sorry, everyone. Only I can win the game around here. It never works out, though, because people just kill this thing. Like, did you really think you can just did you really think that the board would just let you have a Platinum Angel and get away with it? No. So when you have your Platinum Angel out, make sure you got your Swift Foot boots. Make sure you've got, I don't know, Avacyn protection. Make sure you have protection up the wazoo, because the whole board is going to try to figure out how to kill this damn thing. That is going to be priority number 1. Okay, next up, we got Star with Damia, Sage of Stone. Damia, we have a 7-mana Gorgon Wizard with Death Touch. That makes you skip your draw step. I don't like the sound of that. But at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have fewer than 7 cards in your hand, draw cards equal to the difference. That's insane. So you get like a Wheel of Fortune every single turn, effectively. I mean, you don't discard anything, but you keep drawing. So you can't, at the beginning of your upkeep, that card is wild. Ask your query and be on your way. Just don't look her in the eye. There's a lot of cards. That's card advantage. This is very cheap. This is only like a $4 commander. I guess because it's like 7 mana. And like, it's only at the beginning of your upkeep, so you sort of have to flash this in play to get any really good value. So if they say, end of turn, end of your turn, you have to play flash, play Quicken or something, and get your Damia Sage of Stone in play. Does Quicken work? How do I break this card? Next sorcery spell? No, Quicken doesn't work. What do I need? Flash? But that's banned in this format. It's in queue, don't worry. There's a lot of super chats here. You see it? It's over there. You're in line. I will get to you, Antra. That's how it works around here. We did Questing Beast, Beanpot. We did Questing Beast. I think this card's busted. I'm a huge fan of card draw. The fact that it just replenishes your hand. I guess the problem, like, maybe the problem is, like, when are you gonna empty it? Or also, you have to wait until next turn. You could empty your hand and they kill Dami and you get nothing. Okay, there's some ways to play around this. Kagan, Deep Fathom Skulker. Just to let you know, Antra, some people donate super chats around here. So we got through our 5 donations, or I guess it was 4 donations. Deep Fathom Skulker, it is... What are you... You said something... Glad I'll be able to use my Devoid Eldrazi in Commander soon. Ooh. All the Devoid Eldrazi are coming back. There's a blue 5 generic 4/4 Eldrazi with Devoid. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. And also, for 8 colorless and 3 generic, target creature can't be blocked this turn. I wonder what creature that will be. Perhaps my Deep Fathom Skulker. Oh, it's whenever a creature you control. Holy, it's any creature. That's also nuts. That's card draw. There's a few cards out there like this. There's like a Merfolk that's like this for 4 mana, you know, for an Eldrazi. And they make those Eldrazi Scions. You just go wide with a million things. You basically rob the bank with these Deep Fathom Skulkers. You hear that, Christopher B? You just gotta bring some Deep Fathom Skulkers. Rob the bank. This is not legal advice. Okay, let's go with Leo Finn. Entomb plus Dance of the Dead works on legendary creatures, right? What? Dance of the Dead? Dance of the Dead. What are you talking? Oh, I think you're talking. Oh, you're talking about another card. Okay, let's give that one to Pay King, the Gem Raiser. By the way, if anyone's new, the format we have here, I give a freebie away, I go to a super chat, then we go to a freebie, then we go to a super chat, just so you know how it works around here. This is a very underrated card. It's a green 3 generic for a 4/4 beast. Now it's got Reach Trample, and when this creature mutates, I need a mutating sound effect around here. Does this sound mutating enough? Hold on. It sounds like it's going down, but whatever. That's the best I got right now. Okay, how about this? Whenever it mutates, destroy target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. So it's effectively, we're upgrading our creature, but also we got a little bit of a disenchant at the same time. I really like this card a lot. And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, we have Antra. Most dangerous 4/4 creatures. First card I see when I get here is 6/6. Oh. What was that? Oh, it might have been one of the transformed creatures. Maybe it was my Avacyn. Wasn't it a 6/5? Well, Antra, thank you very much for the comment. And for each comment, even though if there's no card suggested, we donate it. We'll donate this one to Mordrak, Thought Not Seer. the colorless 3 generic Eldrazi. ETP, target opponent reveals their hand. No secrets you can keep from the Eldrazi. And you choose an online card from it and exile it, which means it is gone. It is gone forever. So long. That's... yeah. Anyway, when it leaves the battlefield, target opponent draws a card? That's nasty. So, okay, let's say I steal a card from player A. Player B, sorry, I take player A's card. Player A kills my Thought-Knot Seer. I can have player B draw a card instead. That sucks. That's so, that is such a feel bad. Oops. Huge feel bad moment. Next super chat from Gaussier, Thalia and the Gitrog monster. Actually, crazy card. Thalia and the Gitrog monster, the 4-mana 4/4 human frog horror, first strike and death touch. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Creatures and non-basic lands your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. And whenever Thalia and the Gitrog monster attacks, sacrifice a creature or land, then draw a card. More value. There's a lot. It's value plus stacks. You'll be bringing no blockers here, apparently. Next up, we've got Masticore. That is an oldie, but it has aged like sour milk. Polypropylene, Archon of the Wild Rose. Did we get Questing? Yeah, we got Questing Beast. It was like one of the first ones. I'm gonna get asked this question all day. Okay, we have a 4-mana Archon, flying. Other creatures you control that are enchanted by auras you control have base power and toughness 4/4. This is sad as hell. So what you're telling me is I gotta play with auras. I guess we'll buff some of them up, I guess? Maybe? Of base power. So if I put like a Rancor on something, then it gets bigger? Is that what you're telling me around here? Kagan with Abdel Adrian Gorion's Ward. The hell is this? It's fun! I have an infinite combo with him and Necromancy. This is a white 4 generic human warrior. When Abdel Adrian Gorion Ward enters the battlefield, exile any number of other non-land perms you control until Abdel Adrian leaves the battlefield. Create a 1/1 white soldier creature token with each permanent exiled this way. Oh, so you like keep nailing Necromancy and Necromancy hits this thing? Is that how it works? I can't remember how Necromancy works. I think they can tag each other. Choose a background. Good for you. You found a combo. Okay, next let's take one from Jack, Goldspan Dragon. I did not spell this right. Goldspan. The 5-mana, it's a 5-mana Drago. By Drago, I mean dragon. Flying in haste. When it attacks or becomes the target of a spell, create a treasure token. And treasures you control have tap, sacrifice this artifact to add double the mana. Add 2 mana of any one color. Now, everyone loves their mana. There's one resource you're more constrained on than anything else in Commander. It's your mana. You can never say you can have enough mana. Never say it. Spectral Maniac, the Ulvenwald Oddity. What is this thing all about? Has definitely killed me more than once in Standard. Okay, it's a 4-mana beast. Oh, it does have trample and haste. It's the important part. Anything that has built-in haste. Usually when your opponent plays spells, you expect that they have summoning sickness. So this can kill you out of nowhere. And for 7 mana, we'll transform it into Ulvenwald Behemoth, an 8/8 trampling and haste. Other creatures you control get +1/+1, have trample and haste. I'm just thinking, is the haste redundant on this thing? If this has haste, you could attack with it and then transform it mid-combat, and then turn it into the Ulvenwald Behemoth. I think it's very unnecessary that it has haste. Well, I guess unless you put it, like, Razor Boomerang or something like that, right? Razor Boomerang on your Ulvenwald Behemoth. That's a wild combo. Okay, next up, let's take a look from Big Bone Records. Atraxa, Praetor's Voice. Didn't we do this one? Atraxa, Praetor's Voice. We did this one. Bojack Yellow, Reclusive Right. Did we do this the other day? Okay, this is a black 3 generic minion. During your upkeep, if you control any other non-land permanent, sacrifice Reclusive Right. This is terrible. This is awful. This is a terrible card. This strikes fear in nobody except itself. Why am I even here? We'll give this one to Jess. I need something to wash this Reclusive White out of my mouth. The Unrivaled Ancient. Okay, we have another dragon, because we all know how much everyone loves their dragons. 7 mana, flying in haste, and when it attacks, add X mana in any combination of colors. Where X is the total power of attacking creatures. That's a lot of mana. That could be a big attack. Spend this mana only to cast spells. Okay, okay, so you just can't use it on activated abilities. I'm like, of course I'm gonna play it on spells. What else am I gonna use the mana for? But yeah, there's activated abilities. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. Ah, great. We're breaking the rules around here. As Magic the Gathering does. Okay, next up. Pacers Fan Forever. Omnath, Locus of Creation. In danger. This one? Oh yeah, this one. Is it banned anywhere? It's actually not banned. It's actually wild. This is a card that has been in a lot of decks that have gotten a lot of cards banned, but itself is not. I guess it was banned in Standard, I think, at the time. I think that was the only format it, like, genuinely got banned. Very insanely strong card. It's for 4 mana, ETB, you draw a card. Like, it's value all over the place. I mean, I guess the blue represents the card draw. Then you gain 4 life. I guess that represents the white. Then the green represents the mana, and also the red deals 4 damage to each opponent, each planeswalker you don't control. Card is wild. It was banned. Yes, until it cycled out of Standard. Or rotated, I should say. Okay, next up. Let's take a look for what... Unknown Player, Massive Casting in main 2. Is that a real card? Massive Casting? Sounds like an unset card. But it's not even a real card at all. Marcel with the Roaming Throne. We people love your roaming throne. It's a 4 mana golem. It's got ward 2, so that's where most spells will bounce off of it. Enters the battlefield, you name a creature type. I name Merfolk. Roaming Throne is the chosen type in addition to its other types. I have a 4/4 Merfolk. If a triggered ability of another creature you control of the chosen type triggers, it triggers again. Yeah, I could always use more triggers. It's good for humans, actually. I think this would be a great humans card, because humans have like tons and tons and tons of triggers, ETBs especially. Jay Thompson says, you stole it. What is it? Was this your card too? You want credit for it? Where did Jay Thompson? Roaming Throne. It's better than you think. I agree with you. There we go. I give you credit too, Jay. You both can have credit. All right, Kagan, another super chat. Going through my cards, found Chromanticore. This is like this giant aura card. I'm surprised for its mana cost is only a 4/4. Now, it's Wooburg for a flying first strike, vigilance, trample, and lifelink. But it's got bestow. You can bestow for Wooburg and 2 generic. Enchanted creature gets +4/+4, as big as the Chromanticore. Has first strike, flying, vigilance, trample, and lifelink. Basically everything on Chromanticore. Okay, David Sam. Hold on, I have to just get to this joke. We have Fabricio says, Death Shadow at 9 life. It's a great joke there, Fabricio. You're a funny person. You must be a comedian at the nearby comedy club. Okay, hold on. Where was I? Okay, David Sampson. Not super duper powerful, but very iconic. Nicobolus the Ravager. This was tearing up standard. It was like a really good, what's it called? This was a very good card online. Maybe it's pushed out of the format on Arena, but I know it was a huge, highly played card in Standard. Saw a lot of play in Historic. I played against a lot in Historic, at least at the time when Historic was first made. And then they started making those digital cards, and I dumped that format like I take a dump in a toilet. I flushed it down, and I didn't look back. Okay, we have a red, black, blue, 1 generic 4/4 Elder Dragon with flying. Enters the battlefield, you also, or actually enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. This is like the counter to Omnath. Omnath ETB, draw a card. This thing enters the battlefield, you discard a card. But for 7 mana, you get to exile this thing. Hold on, what is it, the clause? Return to the battlefield transformed. Activate only as a sorcery, that's no problem. And you got Nicobolus the Arisen. Quite a mighty planeswalker. 7 loyalty. Already +2, draw 2 cards, -3. Deals 10 damage to target creature or planeswalker. And also -4, put target creature or planeswalker card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. -12, exile all but the bottom of target player's library. Basically a death sentence. Complete death sentence. Isn't Rampaging Raptor a 3/3? Maybe I'm thinking Rampaging Frostodon or something like that. Still, I'm gonna spread the love around. We have Axista with Kappa Cannoneer. Kappa Cannoneer. It's broken. I am not looking forward to this thing being modern legal. It's a 4/4 Turtle Warrior for a blue and 5 generic. Like, that's not much. It's got Improvise. Your artifacts can help cast this spell. Each artifact you tap after you're done activating this ability costs 1. Like, you can tap equipment. Imagine having like Urza Saga out and you make a golem, you make a construct, you get like Shadow Spear. You can tap all those things to get your stupid Kappa Cannoneer in play. And then once you suit it up with Shadow Spear, it's over. I mean, it's just over. Just pack it up. And also, it counts itself when you ETB. I'm not even done. It's got Ward 4, which means like nothing kills this thing. You're not going to have 4 mana. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, which includes itself, it gets upgraded. Anyway, I think they're on crack to put this in Modern. It's like, wasn't even a fun card to play against in Legacy, and now we have to deal with it in Modern. I hope more people play Dress Down. I don't know what else needs to happen in order to get this thing dealt with. It's a very nasty card. Very, very nasty. All right, we're going to thank our sponsors. Yeah, we're going to look at more dangerous 4/4 creatures, but we also like to look at our sponsors, FusionGamingOnline.com. Pre-order Modern Horizons 3. You know, you can get cards like this over there. If you catch my drift. So to upgrade your next Commander and Modern decks, also Legacy, you might want to get those singles at FusionGamingOnline.com. They got them hot and fresh for you. Don't forget to use coupon code Nikachu at checkout for 5% off all of your purchases. And it supports the channel. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. Some cool cards from Modern Horizons 3 that you might want to buy, you might want to build a deck around. We'll rent the deck first on Magic Online using the service Mana Traders. And if the deck works out, buy it all in paper. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_7LH. Not to mention, you can play Commander on Magic Online now. You could actually always do that, but now that they got competitive leagues, they got what maybe you want. Pacers fan agrees with Pedgeman. You know what? You guys always agree with Pedgeman. Okay, Edgar Markov. The 4/4 stat line doesn't matter. Oh, yes, this one. Edgar Markov. Because Edgar Markov, greatest coward in the multiverse. Just sitting there doing nothing in the command zone. Whenever you cast another vampire spell, if Edgar Markov is in the command zone or on the battlefield, you get a 1/1 black vampire creature token. It's got first strike and haste. None of this stuff matters. When it attacks, Put a +1/+1 counter on each vampire you control. But why would you even put it in the line of fire? Just keep it safe in the command zone. Keep milking, and I mean milking, that Eminence ability. I think we did Gold Span Dragon. Kagan? Yeah, we did Gold Span Dragon. Alright, you got sniped. And we got sniped. We donate. We're gonna donate to Travar. Nikachu is my favorite stream. Oh, thank you very much, Travar. We'll give this the super chat to Quadratical Mistbind Cleek. To be honest, this card's not very good anymore. In fact, it's actually just downright terrible. It was a bomb at the time. This is one of those like standard all-star cards, like maybe like even Nicol Bolas the Ravager. It's a 4-mana flash flying creature. You got to champion a fairy though. It enters the battlefield, you sacrifice it unless you sacrifice a fairy. So you remove another fairy you control from the game. When this leaves play, that card can come back to play. But if there's nothing there, you lose your whole thing. You make sure there's a fairy to take it. Pronounced click? Oh, is that right? I've been pronouncing it wrong all these years. But then I'm gonna have someone else that's gonna be like, it's pronounced clique. Is it one of those words where it's like 50-50? Is it regionally specific? Okay, but the whole point of this card is when a fairy is championed with Mistbind, click. Tap all lands target player controls. It was very frustrating. Apparently, Mistbind click into Mistbind click into Mistbind click. You had a bad day. I mean, it's like you're getting Armageddon, except the lands are really there. You still have your lands, but at the same time, you don't get the lands. Maniac says click is right. I thought it's a clique. Isn't there such thing as a word called clique? You know, you're part of a clique, and it's like a bunch of people. I don't get it. Maybe I'm wrong. Next super chat coming straight from the king himself, King Ginger, Akum Hellkite. Akuma Matata. Akuma Matata is a red 4 generic, another dragon. Flying, landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, Akum Hellkite deals 1 damage to any target. If that land is a mountain, however, it will deal 2 damage to that permanent or player instead. Got landfall abilities around here. Yeah, that's still pronounced click. Oh, okay. I had it wrong my entire life then. They should spell it differently. Okay, next up. Who doesn't have a card? I don't think Martin has a card. Champion of Dusk. From dusk till dawn. This person, like, what's dusk? Dusk is the morning, right? Dusk, dawn. Dawn is the evening. So this is the champion of the morning. An early riser, is he? Okay, we have a black 3 generic Vampire Knight. When Champion of Dusk enters the battlefield, you draw X cards and you lose X life, where X is the number of vampires you control. But you know what? Greatness at any cost. It's one thing I hate running out of when playing a creature-based deck. It's cards. Gotta keep them cards coming. They gotta keep flowing. Dusk is evening, dawn is the morning. Oh, oops. Okay, well.
No! God, please, no!
Can I last 2 minutes without looking like an idiot? There, we got everyone. Everyone knows. Well, I don't. Dusk, dawn. No, I never use these words anyway. I don't read the name. You know what? The names on the Magic the Gathering cards, they're not all that relevant at a competitive level. I can even just describe the card these days. I don't even need to know the name of anything. Okay, next up. Do we have a freebie now? No, I think that was a super chat. We got Josh Karen with my win con in my clues deck. The Cyber Drive Awakener. Cyber Drive. Going into overdrive. It's a 6 mana construct. It's got flying. Other artifact creatures you control also have flying. You didn't think robots could fly, do you? They do now. When Cyberdrive Awakener enters the battlefield, until end of turn, each non-creature artifact you control becomes an artifact creature with base power and toughness 4/4. Oh my god, this is like the god of the artifacts. Join me. I know. Not only will you become, I gave you life, and I will also make you fly like an airplane. So basically, blue critter hoof for artifacts. Yep. It's one way of looking at it. Who don't got nothing? Okay, Fabricio gave me a BS card earlier. Aragorn the Uniter. It instantly is danger. It's Omnath. It's Omnath the Uniter, but it's bigger. It's a 5/5. This is disqualified. You screw up again, Fabricio. That's 2 strikes. Okay, we got our fellow Korean over here. I'm Boomer MTG player, Mastercore. Oh god. Okay, this is like, okay, let's get Mastercore. Let's get the original art here. Okay, this is still good in pre-modern. This sees play in is it pre-modern? Yeah, it's pre-modern. Pre-modern is the format with whatever. Outside of that, this card is just god-awful these days. It's just terrible. At the beginning of your upkeep, you have to discard a card, or you have to sacrifice this thing. For a whole 2 mana, we deal 1 damage. You know, these days with, like, Walking Ballista, Walking Ballista is just a better version of this, as far as I'm concerned. And then for 2 mana, you also can regenerate it. If you're down to 1 card, you're screwed. I mean, you basically don't get to play anything for the rest of the game, and you have to lean on this Mastercore. Unbelievable that this was like a S tier level card back in the year 2000. Unbelievable. Okay, so there is like 1 format where this is good. Next up, Mordrick, you get something? Massacre Girl. Massacre Girl, 5 mana for a human assassin with menace. Very menacing. If only you know how many bodies she's left behind. ETB, each other creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. And whenever a creature dies, each creature other than Massacre Girl gets -1/-1 until end of turn. It's a Kill Bill story. Massacre Girl enters the battlefield, and there is just blood and bodies all over the place. Don't get on her bad side. She'll cut you up! She has no problems doing it either. Okay, Josh. Good old Karn Silver Golem. What, like from the good old days? Is this any good? Blocks, it becomes blocked. It gets -4/+4 until end of turn. Then for 1, target non-artifact creature and opponent. Target non-creature artifact becomes an artifact creature with power and toughness each equal to its converted mana cost until end of turn. I think this card sucks. Is anyone playing this card? It's part of the reserve list. I think it's awful. It's not even a very expensive reserve list card because everyone knows that it's not so good. I think we've got, I think it used to be good in the ye old days. We don't know it was good. We think it was good. Maybe it saw some play in a tier 3 deck. Maybe. And mind you, it came out, what was it, Urza Saga? It came out at like a pretty impressive time in Magic the Gathering's history. There were turn 2 combos at this time. It's on the reserve list, but it got reprinted. Yeah, Wizards did that a few times, and it spooked everyone out. They reprinted a few reserve list cards. They did it in such a stupid way. They were like mass-producing products. They're like, the old reserve list rule was like Wizards was allowed to reprint reserve list cards, but in promotional fashion. I think if they stuck to like Pro Tour promos, it would have been fine. But instead, they were like, okay, let's mass produce this product with these reserve list cards. And like that seemed against the spirit of the reserve list at the time. Oh, it'd be so cool to have like foil Black Lotuses, official foil Black Lotuses. Ecos, this card at danger, Winota, Joiner of Forces. This card is absolutely brutal. It's a 4-mana human warrior. Whenever a non-human creature you control attacks, loot the top 6 cards of your library. You may put a human from among them onto the battlefield. Tapped and attacking, it gains indestructible until end of turn, and put the rest of the cards on the bottom of your library in a random order. I was so impressed to know even like this card, it's banned in Pioneer, it's banned in Explorer, it's not legal anymore in Historic because they had to errata it. And I'm actually really impressed that this card sees play in Commander as well. Very impressive. We did Mirror Enforcer. Henrik, we did that one. Karn's Silver Golem was played in Wildfire decks. Honestly, that means nothing to me. I have no idea what that archetype was. Guess you had to be there at the time. Very CEDH? Very, huh? I heard regular EDH is just shrinking like crazy and CEDH is exploding. It's wild. Okay, at my Fusion Gaming Open over the weekend, there were like 47 people for Modern, 20 people for Pioneer, but the CEDH event brought 80. That's the future of Magic right there. That's the future of Magic. Yeah, they banned Agent of Treachery for this thing. That was so crazy. They had no idea what they were doing back then. Okay, Kagan with Faith-Bound Judge. Don't judge me. I've tried to find a home for. So so you're telling me this card sucks? It is a 3-mana 4/4 Defender. Ugh. Flying and Vigilance. At the beginning of your upkeep, a Faithbound Judge has 2 or fewer judgment counters on it. Put a judgment counter on it. As long as it has 3 or more judgment counters on it, it can attack as though it didn't have Defender. This is terrible. I'm not even going to read the rest of this. Why even mention this card? It's not even good. Yeah, you haven't found a home for it because it has no home. It's Defender. Arcanus is like, CEDH is horrible. I hate playing it. It's not fun to do all that setting up for someone to take 15 minutes to turn for that combos into a win. Welcome to CEDH. Same thing happens in regular competitive Magic. I've spent many matches sitting 20 minutes doing nothing, watching my opponent do their thing. He missed the back. The back is used. The front is everything. Enchant player. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a judgment counter on Sinner's Judgment. And then if there are 3 or more judgment counters on it, enchanted player loses the game. Sinner's Judgment would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it. Honestly, I don't think that even redeems it. It's not really the creature portion of this thing. Does anyone play this for that side? It's not very impressive to me. He missed the back. I got the back. I don't know if it's good or not. Next up. Sight Bell, Soul Flare. With any kitchen sink creature like Chromanticore, that's right. They tried to... I think it's better just not to go that crazy, though. 6 mana for a demon with Delve. And then for each Delve creature you delved, it absorbs its abilities, which is really cool. So if the creature you delved had Flying, First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Haste, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance, it will get it. But it won't gain Infect. It just won't gain it. Welcome, Lublin. Okay, I'm going to rattle through these super chats. We are reaching the 3rd quarter of the show. Okay, you like Merfolk? So, Zareth Zand, the Trickster. Sorry, Zareth Zand, the Trickster. Yeah, but is it dangerous? Okay, it does have Flash. And also for 4 mana, return an unblock attacking rogue you control back to its hand. Put Zareth Zand from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. What is this, a ninja? Are ninjas are rogues stealing the ninjas' jobs? Whenever Zareth Zand deals combat damage to a player, you may put target permanent card from that player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Okay, that's pretty sweet. That's pretty strong. I like that. Return an unblocked rogue you control to its hand. Put Zareth Zand from your hand onto the battlefield. So I can activate this ability from my hand? Is that how this works? I don't get it. Okay, return an unblocked attacking rogue you control to its owner's hand. Put Zareth San the Trickster from your hand onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. Well, I get that makes sense. I mean, we have abilities in hands. That does make sense. It feels like an ability that's supposed to be on the battlefield. They can only activate if it's in play. Like, can I regenerate a creature in my hand? No. Doesn't make any sense. It's ninjutsu for rogues. Weirdly enough. Okay, next one from Kagan. The Wandering Alcoholic. Okay, it's archaic. Wandering Alcoholic. 5 mana avatar. Oh, I thought it was an Eldrazi. Whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, they can pay 2. If they don't, you may copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. This is great. It has a second side to it. It's got Explore the Vast Lands. I'm not going to read that side. This side was more than enough for me. Okay, next one we got also from Kagan. We got Friends Forever. Sophina. Spear something. It is a 4 mana human soldier with menace. Whenever Sophina, Spearsage Deserter attacks, investigate once. For each non-token attacking creature and has Friends Forever, you can have 2 commanders if both have Friends Forever. Okay, King Ginger, Aurelia, the Law Above. I've heard of a lot of Aurelias. I didn't know there was the Law. So good. Okay, it's a 5 mana angel with flying, vigilance, and haste. I feel like that's quite the combo these days. To be flying, to have vigilance, and have haste at the same time. Whenever a player attacks with 3 or more creatures, you draw a card. That's interesting. You get to draw a card, no matter who it is. So if someone else attacks with 3 creatures, you draw. If you attack with 3 creatures, you draw. Whenever a player attacks with 5 or more creatures, Aurelia the Law Above deals 3 damage to each of your opponents, and you gain the 3 life. Okay, next super chat we've got Pacers is unloading here. The Locust God. Can't remember. Pacers, are you the one who has like big stonks into this thing? 6 mana for a 4/4 flying. Whenever you draw a card, create a 1/1 blue and red insect creature token with flying and haste. Also 4 mana, you draw a card and discard a card, and when it dies, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. It's hard to get rid of them bugs. You have to call a real exterminator around here. Okay, Kagan. Okay, I'll wrap up Mondrak, Glorious, Dominius, and 2 donations. Thank you so much, Kagan. You're looking out for the community around there. You're not even wrapping up. You have a bunch of super chats coming. Mondrak. Glory Dominguez. This is a 4 mana Phyrexian Horror. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many of those tokens are created instead. Also for Phyrexian 1 generic, sacrifice 2 other artifacts or creatures, put an indestructible counter on Mondrak. Go get him. Okay, 2 donations. Who has not got a card yet? Don't know if Josh got a card. Yina! Red Tooth Regent. Because some enchantments shouldn't be allowed to be copied. The 4 mana Elf Noble. Very nice picture. 2 mana tap. Choose target enchantment you control that doesn't have the same name as another permanent you control. Create a token that's a copy of it, except it isn't legendary. And if the token is an aura, untap Yina Red Tooth Regent, then scry 2, activate only as a sorcery. Maybe Abzo hasn't got a card yet today. Oger. I have a feeling you mention Oger every single time you can. 4 mana God with Trample, and if a red source you control would deal an amount of non-combat damage less than Oger Oxynal's power to an opponent, that source deals damage equal to Oger Oxynal's power instead. And when Oger Oxynal dies, return it to the battlefield tapped and transformed under its owner's control. When it dies, it has arisen as the Temple of Power. That actually doesn't make any sense. So it died and then just turned into a temple? has been defeated into a temple, but it might rise once again. That taps for a red mana, and 3 mana tap, transform Temple of Power. Activate only if red sources you control dealt 4 or more non-combat damage this turn, and only as a sorcery. Next up, King Ginger. Do we do Battle Angels of Tyr? What is that? Battle Angel. Ah, yes, the 4 mana Angel Knights with Myriad and flying. Whenever Battle Angels of Tyr deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. If that player has more cards in hand than each other player, oh, that's it. Okay. Then you create a treasure token. Then you create a treasure token. If that player controls more lands than each other player, then you gain 3 life if that player has more life than each other player. That is weird. If you have more of this than everyone else, then I cash in. Okay, another Kagan special. Hollow Henge Overlord. A lot of Hollow Henges out there. Seems danger in werewolves. Well, I'm not familiar with werewolves being that dangerous. Flash, at the beginning of your upkeep, for each creature you control that's a wolf or werewolf, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. That's actually pretty good value. Right, so for as many wolves as you have basically get more of them. You double them up. All right, King Ginger with Caesar's Legion's Emperor. Well, Caesar. It's so weird to see Caesar in 2024. Okay, it's a 4 mana human soldier, and whenever you attack, you may sacrifice. This card actually is super powerful. My friend plays this deck. You may sacrifice another creature, and when you do, choose 2. 2 of them. You can create 2 1/1 soldiers with haste, tapped, and attacking, or you draw a card and you lose 1 life, or Caesar deals damage equal to the number of creature tokens you control to target opponent. And that's a lot of damage. Pacers fan forever with Havengul Lich. What's up with this thing? 5 mana zombie wizard. Pay 1. You may cast target creature card in a graveyard this turn. When you cast that card this turn, Havengul Lich gains all activated abilities of that card until end of turn. That is strange. So, like, you get the card, and then you get its abilities? What if it's like, and it's activated abilities? Would you need 2 creatures in play with the same active? Well, I guess if it's a tap ability, you get double of them. You play Caesar in your deck, huh, King Ginger? I play Caesar in my Ishin deck. Oh, so it's not your commander. Ishin is your commander. Ishin's the name, and Caesar's my game. Limdul from Pacers fan forever. The Necromancer. Limdul what? The Necromancer? Is this any good? Whenever a creature an opponent controls is put into a graveyard from play, you can pay 2. If you do, return that card to play under your control. Whenever a creature an opponent controls is put into a graveyard from play. Oh, you can pay 2 if it's creature, it's a zombie. And you get the thing, and then you can also regenerate it. Pretty wild. Your creatures are mine now. Your creatures are mine. Okay, Ecos, Heliod, Radiant Dawn. What's this all about? How many Heliods do we have in this game now? Oh, this is the one that got captured and then changed to Phyrexian. The 4 mana god. When Heliod, the Radiant Dawn enters the battlefield, return target enchantment card that isn't a god from your graveyard to your hand. So you can't kill a god, but apparently you can Phyrexianize it. And then for 4 mana, you can transform it into Heliod, the Warped Eclipse. Heliod, you don't look so good. You should have a Snickers. You may cast spells as though they had flash. Spells you cast that cost 1 less to cast for each card your opponents have drawn this turn. That's sick value. I like it. Okay, Kagan. Ardent Angel. Don't worry. After this, we're gonna take a look at whoever didn't get a card. We'll have enough time, so everyone gonna get a card today. We got a 6-man angel flying, and at the beginning of your upkeep, if Ardent Angel is in your graveyard, roll a 4-sided die. Okay, good luck. If the result is 1, return Ardent Angel from your graveyard to the battlefield. Go on, at the beginning of your upkeep, if Ardent Angel is in your graveyard. Oh, so went out of so many times. This card is not that good, to be honest. This card's actually quite poo. It's like basically 6 mana does nothing. And then if it's dead, you have like a 25% chance of it coming back. I don't like this card. Okay, I'm donating this one. This is below the threshold of dangerous. Whale of Darkness with Phage. If you're allowed to attack, Phage the Untouchable. 7 mana. When it enters the battlefield, if you didn't cast it from your hand, you lose the game. When Phage deals combat damage to a creature, destroy that creature. It can't be regenerated. But whenever Phage deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. It's over. I've attacked you with Phage. Phage plus unblockable equals basically win condition, I guess. Next super chat we got from Pacers fan. The Sign of the Ur-Dragon. Did I use any of these? Sign of the Ur. Is this the broken commander card? Can't remember. I think this is the broken one. It's Wooburg. It's a 4/4. It flies. But the key thing is that you can search your library for 2 mana for a dragon permanent card and put it in your hand. If you do, Sign of the Ur-Drag becomes a copy of that card until end of turn. Whatever you can do, I can do better. What's the term? Imitation is the most sincerest form of flattery. Okay, Theodore says, please do Horobi. Horobi it is. Horobi! Which one? Oh, I guess the one that's a 4/4 creature. We've got, yeah, it's 4 mana, flying. Whenever a creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, destroy that creature. It sounds very dangerous. It sounds dangerous to us, too! We're playing creatures. We got Tulio here. Bloated Contamination. Or sorry, Contaminator. 3 mana for a Phyrexian Beast with Trample and Toxic One. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you get to proliferate. Okay, next King Ginger. Damia Sage of Stone. Oh, we did this one. We actually did this one earlier. I wouldn't say you got sniped, but you're really late to the party. Second for Muxus. Third for Muxus. Who first? Fourth for Muxus. Who's the first for Muxus? Archibald says Muxus. Muxus, Muxus, Muxus. All right, we've got a Muxus. Enters the battlefield, reveal the top 6 cards of your library, put all the goblin cards with converted mana cost 5 or less from among them onto the battlefield, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. When Muxus attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each goblin you control. As if it needed that. It's basically, what is it, Goblin Ringleader, but puts all the crap in play? Evil, absolute evil. We demand Muxus! Muxus or riot. Surefire Sub says, I will officially graduate tomorrow. Congratulations! Hold on, we got some... Oh, good soup. There we go. And I'll finally be back to attending the streams with Skitherix the Blight Dragon. Skitherix. Congratulations. High school or university? Or college? Okay, we have a 5 mana flying infector. Where's our booing sound effect? In fact. Oh, congratulations. Just wait until you go back for some, because you want to learn more. I never thought I'd go back to university. I was wrong. We have black. Skitherix, the Blight Dragon, gains haste until end of turn. Haste! And you have to regenerate it. You can regenerate for double black. It's the last thing I want to see across from me. All right, Ecos. Shadowfax, Lord of Heroes. It's a horse. 5 mana for a 4/4 horsey. That gives haste to all the horses. Horses you control have haste, including itself. And whenever Shadowfax, Lord of Horses, attacks, you may put a creature card with lesser power from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. Hopefully it is also a horse. King Ginger, last one for me. Corvold, Fey Cursed King. I know all about this card. If it was done, then donate, please. No, it's not done. All right, we got a 5-mana Dragon Noble with flying. Whenever Corvold, Fey Cursed King, enters the battlefield or attacks, you have to sacrifice another permanent. But the upside is whenever you sacrifice another permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on Corvold, and you draw a card. That's value. Pyrobob, Sign of Draco. Yeah, the card that has turned modern completely on its head right now. Is it seeing some playing Legacy? I can't tell. So it's a 12-mana 4/4 with flying. Each creature you control has Vigilance if it's white, Hexproof if it's blue, Lifelink if it's black, First Strike if it's red, and Trample if it's green. This combined with Leyline of the Guild Pact, which makes all your creatures all colors, just breaks this thing. So it's just a 4/4 First Strike, Vigilance, Lifelinking, Hexproof monstrosity. You can deal nothing, so you can do nothing about it. Except make your opponent sack flyers with, like, Pick Your Poison. Stonks of Pick Your Poison going up. Big time going up. King Arthaz with Katosi. Is it Kotose, the Silent Spider? This is a spider? Is that spider? Says the Silent Spider, but it's Human Ninja. 5-mana Human Ninja. ETB, exile target card other than a basic land card from an opponent's graveyard. Oh, then search that player's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the same name as that card and exile them. I'm like, why are we limiting this to not a basic land? Because they want you to still be able to cast your cards. Then that player shuffles. For as long as you control Kotose, you may play one of the exiled cards, and you may spend mana as though it were any color to cast it. Next up, Ecos with Urabrask in Burn. Oh, you're very specific, are you? Which one? There's several Urabrasks. I'm assuming it's this one. I think it's this one. Red, 2 generic for a 4/4 Phyrexian Praetor. First strike. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Urabrask deals 1 damage to target opponent. You also add a red mana. Pay a red, exile Urabrask, then return it to the battlefield transformed. Activate only as a sorcery and only if you've cast 3 instant or sorcery spells this turn. Turns into the great work. Yes. Our work is great. Chapter 1 deals 3 damage to target opponent and each creature they control. Chapter 2, create 3 treasure tokens. And then Chapter 3, until end of turn, you may cast instant and sorcery spells from any graveyard. If a spell cast this way would be put into a graveyard, exile it instead. And exile the great work, then return it to the battlefield. Front face up. Letting you know, return it back into your Urabrask. That would work in a burn deck. Okay, King Ginger donating to the freebie section. You hear that? King Ginger is Santa Claus today. We got a whole new 2. Okay, who has not got a card yet? I have not kept track of who has not. I know Wild Camaro has not. The OGest of OGs, the Sarah Angel. It's so OG, it's terrible. Yeah, this card sees no play anymore. Flying Vigilance for 5 mana. Come on, we have cards on this list today. Flying Vigilance, Haste, and 2 more paragraphs of abilities that can flip. Sarah Angel, old news. I'm gonna give that to, we have Interdimensional also mentioning Sarah Angel. You've lost your minds. We did Kappa Cannoneer Almond. We did that one. Don't know if Star got one, but Essex. The Fractal Bloom. 6 mana for a flying fractal. Didn't know that was a creature type. The first time you would create one or more tokens during each of your turns, you may instead choose a creature other than Essex Fractal Bloom and create that many tokens that are copies of that creature. Okay, that was one super chat. What else do we have? I don't think we've got... Islarf got one. Meyer Lurk Queen. This is a queen? Where's your crown, queen? Is a 5-mana crab mutant with vigilance and enters the battlefield. Target player gets 2 rad counters. Now these rad counters are not so rad after all. Whenever one or more non-land cards are milled, draw a card, then put a +1/+1 counter on Meyer Lurk Queen. This ability triggers only once each turn. Alright, we have now 5 more super chats coming from Steve Cooper. Tax return plus payday come in, so that's why I'm donating big this week. Steve Cooper is more generous. Well, I mean, it's still your money. You just overpaid for taxes. It always makes you feel richer than you think. Okay, 5. Okay, Abzo is seconding Brian Stoutarm. Brian Stoutarm from Darkest Angel. How start? Stout. Brian. So Brian. Not Brian. The Stoutarm. 4 mana. It's a giant warrior with lifelink. Pay red. Ooh, you gotta sack another creature. And then it deals damage equal to the sack creature's power to target player. Fling the creature. The game. Next up, we got ooh, Hollow one. Does anyone play this anymore? It still sees play in Vintage. That is still a Vintage playable card. It's a 5-mana 4. It's a 5-mana card, but no one actually pays 5 mana because it costs 2 less to cast for each card you've discarded this turn. So you get your little bizarre Baghdad action in play. Draw 2, discard 3. You get to play this for nothing. It's a free 4/4, 0 mana 4/4, as we said earlier. Great card. Blackbird suggestion. We got the Chitinous Crawler. Sounds like I'm saying something wrong here. Chitinous Crawler. Not even a real card. Okay, it is a 4-mana insect horror. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose target creature card in your graveyard. Conjure a duplicate. Okay, so basically every turn I get a copy of something in my graveyard. Then you can also descend 8. It doesn't even exile at end of turn. Descend 8. Exile a permanent card from your graveyard. You may play it. Activate only as a sorcerer and only if there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard. That is banger graveyard value. Okay, that was 2? If I lost track, it is my loss, your guys' gain. Lublin. Merkfield Liege. Stable and Merfolk Commander, I think. Merc Fiend. I have never played that card in Commander. I think I would know. Okay, this is a 5-mana horror that apparently is a lord for the green and blue creatures. Untap all green and blue creatures you control during each other player's untap step. I guess you could play it. A little fancy in my opinion. What else do we have here? Almond, Roaming Throne. Almond definitely didn't get a card yet. No, we did this one. We did this one. I told you. Oh, maybe you came in right when we did it. We had just done it. And then you said Roaming Throne. I'm like, we did that one. We did Cannoneer. Who have we not? Okay, we did Ravenous Baloth too. That's a weird one. Is that actually that good? Surefire Selves. Chitinous Crawler. Kitten Crawler. What? Do I have to put the hyphens in here? Just doesn't understand unless I do. This card doesn't exist. Sorry about that, Sir Surefire Selves. It just does not exist. Wiltleaf Liege. This is a cool one. Willie Liege! Guess what happens when you tick up Liliana and make me discard my card? I get to put this thing directly onto the battlefield instead of putting it into my graveyard. And other green creatures I control get +1/+1. And the other white creatures I control also get +1/+1. We did Sarah Angel. I even disqualified it. You want me to Would you like me to disqualify it again? We did Massacre Girl. Did we do all the good ones? Toilet Duck. Arit? Or Ariat? The big wheeler. Ariat. Or is it Arié? This is Charmed Apple. Okay, the big Weiler or something like that. Okay, 4 mana human warlock, lifelink. Whenever an aura you control becomes attached to a non-land permanent opponent controls, with mana value less than or equal to that aura's mana value, gain control of that permanent for as long as the aura is attached to it. So basically, potentially, can turn all our auras into mind controls. Beguiler? The Beguiler. We're gonna beguile around here. The King! King Arthas. Aklazots. Deepest Betrayal. Did we do this one? I think we did something similar. We didn't do this one. The 5 mana Bat God with Flying and Lifelink. Everything has to have Flying and Lifelink now. If you're a 4/4, I guess. Whenever it attacks, each opponent discards a card. For each opponent who can't, you draw a card. Whenever an opponent discards a land card, create a 1/1 black bat creature token with flying. And when it dies, return it to the battlefield tapped and transformed under its owner's control. It's one of those things that add black mana. Pay 3, tap, transform only if a player has 1 or fewer cards in hand and only as a sorcery. Aspie GG, Sharding Phoenix. Oh, sorry, Sharding Sphinx. We're not done. Don't change that dial. Okay, we have a 6 mana 4/4 with flying. It's a Sphinx. Whenever an artifact creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may create a 1/1 blue Thopter artifact creature token with flying. Okay, back to the super chats. We got Stefan with Duskwood Boars. Thank you very much for your super chat, Stefan. I wonder how many super chats did I get through in that last one? Was that even 5? Is it Dirkwood Boars? It's a 4/4. It literally does nothing. It's a sad, pathetic state of a 4/4 creature. 4/4 vanilla. For 5 mana at that, that's terrible. That's beyond bad. Okay, who has not got a card yet? And also, is there anything useful? Wormcoil Engine with a stab wound on it. You're thinking very creatively. Okay, Omnath Locus of All. All the Omnaths are dangerous. Okay, this one is a 5 mana Phyrexian Elemental. If you would lose unspent mana, that mana becomes black instead. It all goes to the dark side. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, look at the top card of your library, and you may reveal that card if it has 3 or more color mana symbols in its mana cost. If you do, add 3 mana in any combination of colors and put it in your hand. If you don't, reveal it and put it into your hand. So you're getting it anyway. Mondrak, Glory Dominus. We just did this one. Sorry, you got sniped. Yeah, make another suggestion before the show is over. I got this in my first starter pack with that the Duskwood Boars. Yeah, that's what came in the starter packs. A bunch of random vanilla creatures. I don't know how many cards Spectral Mania got today. Apostle of Invasion. 6 mana flying. It's a Phyrexian Angel. And it's corrupted. As long as an opponent has 3 or more poison counters, Apostle of Invasion has double strike. Okay, TC Josh, Brian Stout Arm. I believe we've done that one as well. People are just getting sniped left and right. All the good ones are gone. We did Questing Beast, easy. Okay, Dorothea. Basically, one super chat's going to be going to someone who already super chat before. Okay, now this is a weird 4/4 creature for 2 mana. It's got flying. Whenever it attacks or blocks, you gotta sack it at end of combat. It's like a one-shot thing, and it's got disturb. So it can come back. It's an enchanted creature, and whenever this creature attacks, create a 4/4 white spirit creature token with flying that's tapped and attacking. So basically, you turn it into a Geist of Saint Traft. That is interesting. Stefan, Seraph from the good old Ice Age. The OG. Where's Ice Age here? Is it this? No. Sarah from good old Ice Age. Which one of these sets is from Ice Age? I can't find this thing. Seraph. You have to be more specific. Oh, hold on. Here's Seraph. Okay, I found it. Okay, we found Seraph. It's like looking for Where's Waldo. Okay, we have a white 6 generic 4/4 flying at the end of a turn in which any creature is damaged by Seraph and is put into the graveyard. Put that creature into play under your control, as though it were just summoned. If you lose control of Seraph or Seraph leaves play, bury the creature. Ah, good. That's what I like to hear. You don't get it back. When my angel dies, you get nothing. Everything dies. That's all. Oh, Joe 2 Grunt. Good call. Ecos. Can I just look up Grunt? This is a weird card. It's better than the board. No, this is pretty good. Okay, so this is some weird graveyard hate. Check out this. It's a white 1 generic for a 4/4. Commutative upkeep. Put 2 cards from a single graveyard on the bottom of their owner's library. So basically, you can like reach into your opponent's graveyard and put their cards on the bottom of the library. I think that's sick. I think it's a great card. It's a hidden gem. It's a really good graveyard hate. One thing though is you need your opponent to have a lot of cards in their graveyard. Otherwise, it's not gonna live for very long. Okay, that's it for today, people. It's time for you all to enjoy your F&Ms, because that's it for Coffee and MTG. As usual, we do this 3 p.m. weekdays on Central Standard Time. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show, or you super chat to help other people be part of the show. And most importantly, we gotta thank the Coffee crew for being here in this great afternoon. Like people like Aspie, Stefan, Abzo, Gaia's Cradle, Star Marcio, Toilet Duck, Almond, Ulick, Marcel, David, Samson, Mordrek, Abzo, Jess, Steve Cooper, David, I think I'm repeating some names, David Sampson, Almond, Darkest Angel, Surefire Selves, Martin, Lublin. Did I do Spectral Maniac? Give a shout to Spectral Maniac again. And as usual, my coffee crew, keep brewing up them coffees, and we will keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cup.